Is Louis the Heretic Poems by Gregory Schofield, and I just, when I first met him after reading that book, I could barely talk. I was so nervous. I just think it's genius. It weaves together just incredible phrasing and poetry, and much of the history of a good part of Canada, and it's accessible, and so I think that would be an interesting pick.
NTR?
Jordan Tutu's book, All the Way. What I find fascinating about the book is that it's done, it's very plain English. Many people can understand it and just connect with it. And he did it, midway through his career. A lot of athletes usually write books after their career to kind of sum things up, but he did it right in the middle of it. He's young. He's close to my age. He's in his early 30s, and he admits that he had a problem with alcohol. And I think in our communities, it's so rampant, and a lot of times we think it's normal, right? So it just makes you think about some of your own actions, your own personal actions, but also your community's actions, and it makes you just think about about wanting to live a good life. That book sure helped me on my way, so I think it could help many others on their journey.
Well, thank you all very much, Monique.
Thank you.
TR.
Thanks for having me.
David.
My pleasure.
David Wokchar is a broadcast journalist from Port Alberni. T.R. Wilson, a journalist who calls the Opaskwayak Cree Nation home, and Monique Warniak, a librarian living on Treaty 1 territory, also known as Winnipeg. We want to hear from you listeners. Which book do you think we should read next? It can be a new release or a classic. Drop us a line at unreserved@cbc.ca. That's it for this week's episode of Unreserved. We'll be back in this radio space next week to bring you more community, culture, and conversation from across this great land. If you'd like to drop us some love, email us at unreserved@cbc.ca or Facebook like us at CBC Radio Unreserved. Shout-outs of love this week to our colleagues at Radio Canada Manitoba and to David Warchar at CJAV-FM in Port Alberni, BC. This episode was produced by Kim Wheeler, Erica Daniels, and Anna Lazowski. Our executive producer is Michael Dick. I'm your favorite cousin, Rosanna Deerchild, coming at you from Winnipeg. Thank you for listening to Unreserved on CBC Radio 1.
CBC Radio 1, 104.7 FM in the West End. Chantal Kreviazuk is hotly defending the right to be cold. Humble the Poet says winning will be a walk in the park with 15 dogs. Candy Palmater believes the break will heal us. Jody Middick asks us to look forward with nostalgia. And Tamara Taylor, she wants to move you to Company Town. Ali Hassan hosts Canada Reads 2017. What is the one book Canadians need now? Start reading. For more, go to cbcbooks.ca. They are tops in their fields. So what's it like to interview them? Two reporters recall meeting jazz great Louis Armstrong. And the creators of Making Oprah talk about interviewing the legendary host. Podcast playlist with Matt Galloway and Lindsay Michael. After the news.
This is CBC News. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Sila Krishnan with the CBC News from Montreal. Finance Minister Bill Morneau is expected to unveil the date of the coming budget in the next hour, but senior government sources say don't expect a lot of new spending. As Karina Roman tells us, the Liberals are delaying implementation of much of their agenda until some key questions are answered.
When Bill Morneau unveils his second budget, people will see little new spending. expectations had been that it would be a signature budget of the Trudeau mandate, aimed at re-engineering the economy. A senior government source says that instead, they will introduce some new measures to get the government's innovation agenda started. It will be what they're calling a prudent, steady-as-she-goes document, because there are still too many unknowns. Uncertainty over economic growth in Canada and around the world, and the finance minister wants to wait and see how Donald Trump's agenda actually plays out. The source says that sets the stage for what will effectively be a two-budget year, with a significant fall fiscal update. Because by the fall, the government hopes to have more clarity. Karina Roman, CBC News, Ottawa.
Manitoba MP Nikki Ashton joined the race today to replace Tom Mulcair as NDP leader. Ashton has represented Northern Manitoba in the Commons since 2008. She ran for the party's leadership in 2012 and placed 7 in the contest that elected Mulcair to the party leadership. Ashton told her supporters in Ottawa she is running on a platform of strong social justice values.
We must challenge the power of Canada's elites, the rich and powerful who are benefiting from growing inequality in our country. It's time to call out a system that is rigged to benefit the few at the expense of the many.
Ashton joins BC MP Peter Julian, Ontario MP Charlie Angus, and Quebec MP Guy Caron in the race. New Democrats will choose their leader next October. Thousands of liters of fuel were spilled when a tanker truck rolled over northwest of Toronto overnight. Crews are working to keep the fuel from seeping into a nearby river in a conservation area. Greg Ross reports.
That tanker was towing what they call a pup trailer, a smaller tanker that holds about 33,000 liters of fuel, and about 23,000 liters of that fuel spilled out on the highway just after 2:30 this morning when that tanker truck rolled over. That fuel started spilling off into that conservation area. An OPP officer says that there's a pretty wide area that has been affected, and now there is concern that it may have made its way or may be making its way to the Humber River, which is also nearby. And if it gets into the river, it makes this a much bigger problem. The rain has been off and on, and sometimes coming down very hard, and it's very windy as well. So they're saying it could be maybe in dinner time before they get this fuel spill cleaned up.
The CBC's Greg Ross reporting from Caledon, northwest of Toronto. An Ontario court has upheld a judge's decision to acquit a woman of a drunk driving related charge, all because police weighed her when taking breath samples at a station. Marc Labrosse of the Ontario Superior Court of Justice dismissed the Crown's appeal of Kimberly McLaughlin's acquittal in August of 2015. A lower court judge ruled that asking McLaughlin to step on a scale after an arrest for an alleged excessive blood alcohol level was a breach of her privacy and subjected her to unreasonable search and seizure. U.S. President Donald Trump was up early this morning tweeting about the prisoners released from the Guantanamo Bay military prison. Trump says thanks to the Obama administration, 122 prisoners have returned to the battlefield. However, he doesn't say how he arrived at that number. Yesterday, U.S. airstrikes against an al-Qaeda-linked group in Yemen killed a former Guantanamo Bay detainee who was released in 2009. And an annual global survey has found that the election of Donald Trump has affected public perceptions of the United States. The United States is now ranked the 7th best country in the world. Last year, it was the 4th. Canada comes in at number 2, behind Switzerland. And that was the CBC News. Taking a look at our weather outside our Montreal studios, it is 6 degrees, and that freezing rain warning that was in the Montreal and Sherbrooke area has ended. Tonight, rain about 15 to 25 centimeters, a low of +4. Tomorrow, rain ending in the morning, then a mix of sun and cloud, a high of +6. Tomorrow night, cloudy with a 40% chance of showers and flurries, and a low of -4. In Sherbrooke, rain rising and temperatures rising to 9 by tomorrow morning. You're listening at CBC Radio 1.
Podcast.
Here's a question you probably heard about 6 million times.
The Queen couldn't believe it was a woman.
She liked to break rules. In a flash, he threw this punch.
You can only run your own race.
podcast playlist, the show that connects you with your new favorite podcast.
And today, we'll hear from the great.
Stories about people who will go down in history as making the world a better place in one way or another. And some of these stories, we promise, will surprise you.
Like our first story. Emily Dickinson was one of the most prolific poets of her time. She wrote over 1,800 poems, but she also liked to bake. The Kitchen Sisters, who host the podcast Fugitive Waves, learned through studying Dickinson's recipe for black cake that she was more complex than history gives her credit for.
The Kitchen Sisters dug up secret loves, family scandals, poems composed on the back of a recipe, and they found out things that completely contradict how Emily Dickinson is generally presented as a reclusive woman dressed always in pure white. Here, with the untold history of Emily Dickinson, is Fugitive Waves.
This is Emily Dickinson herself on the left. She's about 8 or 9 in that painting. Her sister Lavinia is holding a picture of a cat. Emily was more of a dog person. We don't often think of her as being a redhead, but there's a little lock of her hair and it's definitely that color.
Emily was referred to as the myth, not often seen, notorious for wearing white. Some people knew that she wrote, but it wasn't what she was known for. She was probably better known as a baker than a poet in her lifetime.
Her gingerbread was the first thing that struck me. I'm Jean McClure Mudge, writer. I lived in Emily Dickinson's house in Amherst as a faculty wife, first resident curator. Emily would bake gingerbread in little oval cakes, put little flowers on top, and lower them in a breadbasket from her window to the children below. They couldn't see her. A mystery.
Emily Dickinson liked to shock people. She liked to break rules. There was a kind of rebellious freedom in her inner world. She has a poem that begins, "They shut me up in prose," as when a little girl, when they wanted her to be still, and she says, "Boy, they should have seen the wheels in my brain go round." My name is Christopher Benfey. I teach at Mount Holyoke College, where Emily Dickinson spent a year of her life.
She was very well educated for a woman of her time. She liked science and botany.
What she did not like was one of the stated